Hi, everybody. So let's go straight to the point. So, in part one, we talk about the main idea about what Lean UX is, and we talk about assumptions. We talk about how companies sometimes build things that the users, people don't even want, don't even ask you for it. And if you didn't watch the part one, go there and watch it because it's very important that you catch up in the whole idea of part one. So, I will leave the part one here in the description. Anyways, we are getting to something way more real life in UX in this part two, which are collaborative design, MVPs, and experiments. By the way, my name is Nayama. I'm a UX product designer, and today I'm going to share you the main sites from chapter 4 and 5 of this amazing book here, Applying Lean UX, Applying Lean Principles to Improve User Experience by Jeff Gothelf with Josh Seiden. So I will break it down in a simple, practical way with real-world examples from my own experience and all, and also other examples, so you can really understand these ideas in a clear and relatable way. So stay until the end; will be worth it. I promise. A lot of people think designers are like some kind of magic genius that sits alone in the dark and creates perfect ideas. And honestly, sometimes I really wish that was true. But Lean UX says, nope, that's not how it works. UX is not a solo sport, my angel. You do not do this alone. Okay? It's something the whole team does together. And we mentioned that on the last chapter. Your team, everybody, developers, product managers, stakeholders, researchers, or if you have a smaller team, is whoever is involved to the whole product process. And basically everybody helps to shape the solution. And you might be thinking, nice, great, now random people are choosing the design. No, that's not the point. Okay, the book makes this super clear, because when I start reading I say like, what? Anyways, collaboration is not designed by committee. It doesn't mean everyone changes random things. It means everyone understands the problem together. You see the difference there? And honestly, that is where a lot of teams fail. So here comes a real example. In my experience, at the beginning, like, we use this to communicate mostly for emails. For example, when we have proposals for campaigns, we made a proposal in the email and send back and forth. And what happened? Long message, confusion, people missing emails, who never, right? Feedback coming late. Sometimes I thought something was approved, and then whatever, 2 days later, someone like, stop, don't ship this project. We cannot do this. I found an error here and there. So this is super frustrating. And I want to emphasize here that that's not a particular someone fault. It's an error in a collaboration system we are using at the time that was failing. So then we started working in a more collaborative way, using tools that help us collaboration, you know, and there is tons of there. You can find your own that is great for your own work. But myself, I use Miro, and that's what I present to my team to resolve this problem. What is it's basically a digital board where everyone can share ideas, add stick notes, organize thoughts, move things around, and react in real time. And so instead of sending emails, we are thinking together. Actually, let me show you the Miro board example. Okay, so here it is. Here is our collaboration board. It is start with what we are going to show as a product, as you see here is in the first board. And before you ask, yes, I had permission to share this campaign with you, and this is from last year. Okay, going back. So our team can comment and share things, brainstorm together, hey, look at this, I love this idea, blah, 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 paste your ideas there. And the team, we instantly react, we in a real time, we respond, comment, in this case, everyone was online together, and this collaboration was remotely, but it can totally be in person too. I do this sometimes. I sit with my manager and we do things together looking at the Miro board. But the idea here is everybody there looking and solving things together. Do you understand this? So instead of working in isolation, you are making better decisions together, and that's super valuable, um, especially in fast environments. Fast-paced work. You need feedback early because you need to fix the stuff before being a problem. If you try to make everything perfect from the start, you slow yourself down and you miss important feedback. And other cool methods of collaborative design that the book presents in this chapter something called a design studio, which is basically a group activity where everyone sketches ideas fast, shares them, and gives feedback at a time, improves them together. It's like a team brainstorm, but more structured where you sit and etc. Another one that they also mention is the 6-up method. It's a simple technique they use. Is a brainstorming tool, and basically your team fold a paper into 6 parts and draw 6 ideas together, and this forces you to not get stuck in your first idea. And usually your first idea is just the easiest and not one of the best ones. All right, let's wrap up here. My biggest takeaway from this chapter is great design doesn't come from one person, it comes from a teamwork, trying ideas, getting feedback, improving things together. And honestly, that's actually a relief because instead of trying to be the smartest person in the room, you focus on building the smarter process. Look how beautiful. I love this. I'm going to tattoo this on my arm, actually. Anyways, let's move forward to chapter 5. A quick recap here. So, in the last chapter, we talked about collaboration, brainstorming, design studios, blah, 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 6-up method. But now comes the big question. How the heck we know those ideas are actually good? So this is where Lean UX start to becoming really powerful because this chapter is all about MVPs. I'm going to explain what is it, okay? Experiments, prototypes, testing, and learning fast before you wasting time and money. Okay, first thing, MVP stands for minimal viable product. Yeah, that sounds fancy, but the idea actually is super simple, and I'm going to explain to you, okay? MVP is basically the smallest, simplest version of your idea, that idea that you want to create. It's like a small piece that you're going to use to test to see if people care about your product, not perfect, not polished, not the best thing, just enough to you test. So imagine you want to create a clothing brand. And instead of producing a full collection, building a fancy website, ordering a bunch of inventory, you start simple. You design one piece, and post it online. Make a mock-up like cute, and that's your MVP. It's the smallest version of your idea, good enough for your test. You're asking, do people actually want to buy this? And actually, it's kind of like I'm thinking about another example of myself. I started like this YouTube channel a long time ago, but now I'm talking about UX. This is my MVP. It's like, does people really watch a video? If I'm going to have like 10 views, I'm going to be happy already. And great, I had more than 10 views, so I'm moving forward. Okay, 10 people care about it. You know what I mean? It's the smallest version of your idea. I'm not like with fancy studio, fancy background, fancy microphone and etc. I'm just testing things. I actually want to bring it up a diagram that repeats along this chapter, showing exactly where MVPs comes along as a step. So it goes like this. I'm going to put right here. You start with an idea, an assumption, and then you build a small version of this idea, which is the MVP, and then you test it, and then you learn from your people if they like or not your idea. Then you improve it, and then you repeat this process, That is. Um, and that you keep this loop. And that's what lean UX is in real life. And that is a very interesting side here in this book as well. And I will share with you right now. You do not always need to build a real product to test. And this idea is gold for UX designers. You can test like ideas, what the book calls button to nowhere. You want the button there with a feature that actually don't exist yet, but you fall and create it. And you're gonna see if people click a lot. If they click it, woohoo, yes, they want it. Maybe it's a good idea to put it. And if nobody clicks, nope, you save yourself weeks of work and don't bring it up this idea. That's it. So the whole point of MVPs and experiment is this: stop guessing and start testing. The chapter also talks about prototypes, which is also a good way to test your ideas before jumping to the final polished thing. And prototypes, what they are, is just a fake version of your idea. So you can see how people use it. And actually, prototypes is one of my favorite things to test. Yes, that is low fidelity prototypes like these ones. And this one I made for a shopping app, which is just the sketches versus high fidelity, which is like a more realistic version. But important thing here is more polish is different than better. Sometimes a simple sketch like this one is everything that you need, to get insights, to see where people clicks, where people want, what are the frictions. Anyways, I talk a lot of other things. So my main takeaway of this chapter is about finding the wrong stuff faster. We all naturally tend to show something polished and beautiful, perfect UI, perfect branding, perfect interactions. And can we first confirm if people even want this before spending time and money on that? That's what makes great product teams different. They don't just build fast, they learn fast. All right, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this part, and part 3 is coming next week, and it's our final part of this book. And we're going to see how Lean UX actually fits into Agile workflows, how teams really collaborate in fast environments, and what it needs to change inside companies to make all this work. And it will be very nice and very interesting. So see you next week. Bye.